Good morning, dear children. Come back to online classes. Today in social, we are going to see the first chapter of history, that is the French Revolution. Let me tell you the theme of this chapter first. Fall of the Bastille prison in France became the immediate cause of the French Revolution. In the French society, during the late 18th century, there was despotic rule of Louis XVI. The French society was divided into three estates. First and second estate belonged to the clergy and nobility, whereas the third estate had rest of the people including peasants, workers, merchants, traders, etc., who paid heavy taxes. The problem further worsened as prices rose, which led to the subsistence crisis. A growing middle class envisaged an end to the privilege. They wanted to establish a classless society based on equal laws and opportunities for all. The ideas of three philosophers, John Locke, Jean Jacques Rousseau, and Montesquieu, also inspired the French people. A meeting of the Estates General was held, where demand for universal adult franchise was put forward. The representatives of the Third Estate met at a tennis court and declared themselves the National Assembly. In the meantime, peasants revolted against price rise and the Bastille prison was captured. On 4th August 1789, the National Assembly was recognized by King Louis XVI. France became a constitutional monarchy. The constitution allowed active citizens to vote, and the passive citizens who were not allowed to vote were either non-propertied men or women. Louis XVI was sentenced to death on 21st January 1793. Soon, Robespierre introduced the Reign of Terror. He beheaded people with a device called guillotine. Finally, he was also guillotined in July 1794. In 1804, monarchy was revived when Napoleon came to power. He became the modernizer of Europe and introduced many changes for the benefit of France. He was finally defeated in the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. Now let us see the starting of the chapter. One of the morning of 14 July 1789, the city of Paris was in a state of alarm. The king had commanded troops to move into the city. Rumors spread that he would soon order the army to open fire upon the citizens. So, some 7,000 men and women gathered in front of the town hall and decided to form a people's militia. They broke into a number of government buildings in search of arms. So finally, a group of several hundred people, they marched towards the eastern part of the city and stormed the fortress prison, the Bastille, where they hoped to find hoarded ammunition. Ammunition here means bullets and shells, etc. In the armed fight that followed, the commander of the Bastille was killed and the prisoners released, though were only 7 of them. Yet the Bastille was hated by all because it stood for the despotic power of the king. The fortress was demolished and its stone fragments were sold in the market to all those who wished to keep a souvenir of its destruction. The days that followed saw more rioting both in Paris and the countryside. Most people were protesting against the high price of the bread. Much later, when historians looked back upon this time, they saw it as the beginning of a chain of events that ultimately lead to the execution of the king in France. Though most people at the time did not anticipate this outcome. How and why did this happen? So, children, in this paragraph, on the morning of 14 July 1789, the city of Paris was in a state of alarm. The king ordered troops to move into the city. Rumors spread that he would soon order the army to open fire upon the citizens. Some men and women in thousands gathered in the front of the town hall and decided to form a people's militia. A group of several hundred people, they marched towards the eastern part of the city and stormed the fortress prison, the Bastille. In the armed fight, the commander of the Bastille was killed and prisoners released. The fortress was demolished, it was destroyed, and its stones fragments were sold in the market to all those who wished to keep a souvenir of its destruction. As you can see in the picture, how the Bastille was demolished. Next is the French society during the late 18th century. Let us see who was Louis XVI, to whom he was married. In 1774, Louis XVI of the Bourbon family of kings ascended the throne of France. At that time he was 20 years old, and he was married to Austrian Princess Mary Antoinette. Upon his accession, the new king found an empty treasury. Long years of war had drained the financial resources of France. Added to this was the cost of maintaining an extravagant court at the immense palace of Versailles. Under Louis XVI, France helped 13 American colonies, to gain their independence from the common enemy, Britain. The war added more than $1 billion to a debt that had already risen to more than $2 billion. Lenders who gave the state credit now began to charge 10% interest on loans. So the French government was obliged to spend an increasing percentage of its budget on interest payments alone. So to meet these regular expenses, such as the cost of maintaining army, the court, running government offices or universities, the state was forced to increase taxes. Yet, even this measure would not have sufficed. French society in the 18th century was divided into three estates, and only members of third estate paid taxes. And in the first paragraph here, what we have learned that Louis XVI is of the Bourbon family. He was married to Austrian Princess Mary Antoinette. When he became ruler, he found an empty treasure. Long years of war had drained the financial resources of France. Added to this was the cost of maintaining an extravagant court at the immense palace of Versailles. Louis XVI also helped American armies in their war of independence, which led to further $2 billion debt. To meet its regular expenses, the state was forced to increase taxes. Nobles, clergy, and rich men were exempted from paying taxes. It was the third estate the who bore the brunt. Now let us see the French society dividing into three estates. The French society was divided into three estates, that is first estate, second estate, and third estate. First estate, it comprised of the church and the clergy. They enjoyed certain privileges by birth. They were exempted from paying taxes to the state. Now, second estate, in the second estate were the nobles and other rich members. They were also exempted from paying taxes. They also enjoyed feudal privileges. They were also paid feudal dues from the peasants. Now, the third estate, about 90% of the population were peasants. They were obliged to work in the fields of their landlords as well as in their houses. They were paying all direct taxes like tally and a number of indirect taxes, also like taxes on the articles of everyday consumption. Here, let us see the church too extracted its share of taxes called tithis. Tithis here means a tax levied by the church comprising 1/10 of the agricultural produce. And finally, all members of third estate had to pay taxes to the state. These included a direct tax called tally. Tally means the taxes to be paid directly to the state. A number of indirect taxes which were levied on articles of everyday consumption like salt or tobacco. The burden of financing activities of the state through taxes were borne by the third estate alone. Next topic is the struggle to survive. The demand for food grains was increasing as population has increased in France from 23 millions to 28 millions in 1789. Production of grains could not keep pace with the demand. So, the price of the bread, which was the staple diet of the majority, rose rapidly. Population increased so much that production of grains could not keep pace with the demand. Most workers were employed as laborers in workshops whose owners fixed their wages. But wages did not keep pace with the rise in prices. So the gap between the poor and the rich widened. Things became worse whenever drought or hail reduced the harvest. This led to subsistence crisis, something that occurred frequently in France during the old regime. Subsistence crisis here means it is an extreme situation where the basic means of livelihood are endangered.